and always a reminder for myself, أنا عبدك العاجز الضعيف مسكين ظالم جهاد. But for the grace of Allah we're still in existence, alhamdulillah. InshaAllah, what do we have from people's questions? InshaAllah we go over some of the things we talked about in the last few weeks since the beginning of this holy month. The realities of the qamar, realities of the sun and the moon, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, if one reads abundant zikr without wudu, would the effect of the zikr upon the person be lesser than the one reading with wudu?
Definitely you have to ask AI. Yeah, the wudu is essential for our energy and our protection. So anything that we do without protection, it doesn't allow the same amount of energy to attach itself and can open up negative energies coming too close. So we don't want to do an extreme amount of worshipness without wudu. If for some reason somebody is not in wudu or physically can't keep the guidelines of wudu, then they can do what is a minimum and basic of what they have to do. Especially for the other gender, that every time they enter into the cycle of the month and they can't keep wudu doesn't mean to stop everything, it means don't touch the Qur'an. So that which you recite by heart, you can't shut your heart down. So recite what you can, keep your basic practices to not to be under attack and under difficulty. But everything other than that is about energy being clean and purified for all energy practices. So it's a state of cleanliness and we want to be clean as we're approaching the Divinely Presence, inshaAllah. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream, every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
How does all will perish but the holy face relate to the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad? Is it related to the continual contraction and expansion of this heart?
All that will perish except the holy face has to do with the Divine Throne, and that the seat of authority can never perish. As in humans we understand that if your brain doesn't work, no problem, they keep you alive. But if your heart doesn't work, it means your central power system, if no power coming to insan then is dead. In this life and the transition to the next is that which is our source of fuel and energy is required to obviously be alive. The heavens also has a power source and that is the Divinely Heart, the Divinely Presence. So how can that go off? And that source of power that powers all of the creation is from Allah's Ahadu Sammadi realities that never shut off. And that shows to us a secret between the heart and the holy face of the Divinely Presence. So that is the reality of the heart, the central command in which power comes, the qalb is a reality that we understand as a face, because there's no beating heart, but the universe and the world of light has a point in which all power emanates, and that power from Allah's Divinely oceans of Divinely realities. And Allah's Divinely face through its 7 holy openings can never be seen, but it reflects its reality upon the face of Sayyidina Muhammad. And in all our spiritual practices Allah gave us a heart in which to reach to that Divinely Presence. And that's why the practice of tafakkur, contemplation, opening the heart and shutting oneself down from the busyness of dunya. Before Allah shuts us down we have to willingly shut ourselves down, slow ourselves down, make a time out for Allah in which you practice and meditate and contemplate, so that you can feel the light of the Divine, feel the love of Prophet. And this is an essential power for our being. Those whom don't do those practices they find themselves running out of power. And unfortunately when you run out of Divinely power, shaitan begins to substitute a different type of power. So when they run out of himmah and zeal, they begin to run out, their defense mechanism begins to shut off, but shaitan is quickly waiting. And as a result shaitan begins to try to plug people in which they feel they have some sort of an energy, some sort of desires coming, but they're not heavenly. And the zeal they have is not for the heavens, and the desires they have are not for the heavens. So it's not that you shut off and you stop in a room and you can't move anymore, but the zeal and the heavenly barakah that was coming to the servant, making them to do good, to pray good, to do all the things that are pleasing to Allah begins to diminish, and the false power begins to enter within the person and gives them an appetite to eat bad, drink bad, smoke bad, think bad, talk bad. Everything that corrupts the person is an energy that shaitan is about to put upon them. That's why they inhale things that are toxic to themselves, drink things that are toxic to themselves, and then behave in a way that's extremely toxic to the self, because the satanic power has now locked in, and that's because it's being devoid of Divinely power. So the purpose to connect to the heart, to connect to this reality in this majestic way is to survive these oceans of difficulty coming upon the earth. And these are the power sources, and the faces of awliya are the representation of the power source of the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad. So our life is to make our tafakkur, understand the reality and the haqqaiq at-tawajjuh, how to open to the presence of these faces in which to receive their faiz and their emanations, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Can we learn more about Ahadiya?
No. It's in the articles of the tafsir of Surat al-Ikhlas and the realities of Allah's oceans of ahad, in which Allah's unique oneness, nothing is like unto Allah's. When we truly understand the Ahadiya, then we don't make anything like Allah. That we don't think that we are ever like Allah, that we're going to be near Allah, that we're going to go into the oceans of Allah. This is all the hidden polytheism in which we think we can enter into that Divinely reality, and Ahadiya means that there is nothing like unto Allah. So this is a deep reality that once we start to meditate and contemplate, it's not a knowledge for the head, it's a knowledge for the heart. And as a result of the understanding that Allah gives them of Ahadiya, they never place a sharik when there's no shirk. So these are things that people, if you listen to other people when they're not Muhammadiyun they talk a lot about Allah, returning to Allah, being with Allah. This is very much against Ahadiya because they're thinking that there's somewhere that they're going to be near Allah, share a breath in the oceans of Allah. So this is something in the way of marifah that it is frowned upon, and it sets the limit for the servant not to transgress to the best of their ability and without if they make a mistake, but to the best of their ability to understand the majestic reality of Allah, that He's not in His creation, He's the power of His creation. As we're not in the computer but we made a computer with our hands. But it would be bold for the computer to think that the one who made it is also inside of it. So that becomes the guideline to push the servant away. And Allah from that reality of Ahadiya created the ocean of Wahid, that from His unique oneness He made another uniquely one. That there is nothing like unto this Wahid. And Allah created it, the same Ahad, but gave it a wow because He created it out of love. And through this Wahid Allah will be known. So this is an ocean of oneness. So Ahadiya is the fuel that reflects to Wahid. Wahid can be seen, and that's why Allah in Surah An-Nisa, the 4th surah, that we created you from nafs al-wahid. So from the soul and the light of Wahid all creation is created. Where they read it as the ocean of oneness, in reality it's from the ocean of Wahid, exactly as Allah says. And that Wahid is Muhammadun Rasulullah. So common sense is there is no other oneness like that oneness. So means Ahad of La ilaha illallah, nothing like it. You're not there, nothing is there, not an angel is there, not a creation is there. The words themselves are self-explanatory. Means it's so easy Islam, but the people make it confusing. So there's nothing there but Allah, and Allah is nowhere to be seen but is a power. Creation exists in Muhammadan Rasulullah in the ocean of Wahid and oneness, inshaAllah. InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
So is this Wahdatul Wujud?
The Wahdatul Wujud is what we're saying is not allowed. That when they think that they don't understand the reality of Ahadiya, they claim that Wahdatul Wujud, that we become one with Allah, and this is a big no-no. Because then now Allah has partners, because you're sharing His air, you're sharing His space. Allah has no air, Allah has no space, Allah is not inside the computer. As much as the computer has intelligence, you're not inside of it. So it means Allah is not in His creation. These are all our teachings, that's why people who follow the teachings begin to slowly understand. If Allah is not in the teaching, then who is Hayy and Qayyum? Who is the ever living and the self-sustaining, the eternal? Hayy and Mayyit, who's the one whom has life and death? This cannot be explained as Allah. There's no attribute that Allah has for Himself as the one whom ever living, because everything living has a death. So these attributes also point to us the oceans of Wahid, the one whom Allah created, that Allah can make to die and Allah can make to live. But for Allah His Divinely Self, no understanding, no likeness, no nearness for us to understand that we're going to go near into that ocean. So we call Wahdatul shuhud, that when one enters into the ocean of Muhammadan Rasulullah only through the ocean of Muhammadun Rasulullah can they begin to understand La ilaha illallah. Without that it's a imitated understanding. So whatever creation comes to oneness and accepting the Divine oneness in whatever religion they're accepting, it's an imitation. When Allah wants to grant them a higher understanding, He brings them to the door, the only door of La ilaha illallah. And that becomes the ways of marifah, and that's why the story that we tell for all the Prophets, that they were in an imitated state. And when they say, Ya Rabbi I want to see you, Ya Rabbi I want to know you, Ya Rabbi I want to draw close to you, all of the examples of prophecy was then they had to go through the door of Muhammadun Rasulullah. And that's why the Nat Sharif describes, ask Musa what he saw. That in his quest to his marifah and greater understanding of Allah he went through the door of Muhammadun Rasulullah, and as a result complete ghashiyah and to be rebooted and be brought back with a new identity and new reality, inshaAllah. But this I saw from the question of the AIs was good. They asked about the marifah and then they put all these answers and put some nice graphics. Again mashaAllah for the great questions they're asking on AI and the great graphics, and also always a reminder that anything too complicated don't put out, that don't make knowledges that are beatific to become something harmful, in which you put out information that 90% of the people won't understand, and then it causes a confusion to people. So always like anything else, if somebody gives you a weapon, don't keep drawing it in a careless and heedless way. You have to use it with all of your aqal and heart and wisdom and hikmah. Everything you want to share with people, think to your heart that will the majority of people understand this in their soul to come to a greater realization of the love of Allah and the love of Sayyidina Muhammad. Or I'm just putting this out there to confuse people and create fitna. So we hope that our people are not doing that and not trying to make problems for us and for the organization. So everything has to be with the hikmah. Just because people have been given access to this doesn't mean we keep it like that, we can close it at any time. If we see that people don't use it in a correct fashion and they use it just to make people confused, then that's not appropriate and it'll be sort of regulated. But for now alhamdulillah, for the people whom are sharing and putting out articles and images, and again also the images have to be correct and beatific and not to be confusing. A lot of the images of the shaykhs, they have to look like Muslim shaykhs. They have to have the tail in the turban, the mustache is short according to the sunnah Prophet. That don't make the images of big mustaches long, and that's not Islamic sharia and not Islamic sunnah. So Prophet described that the mustache has to be trimmed and everything has to look Islamic, so that we glorify the magnificent sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad inshaAllah. But alhamdulillah since its birth, then we have to keep tweaking and to perfect and to always guide our people whom don't know, which is not a problem because we weren't born knowing. But as a result we want to keep Prophet happy with us and to honour his majestic sunnah and the majestic way of Islam, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam rahmatullah.
Does reciting the madad bring down the anger of a person who is arguing with you?
In the middle of arguing and you start reading your madad, I would imagine you're going to have problems with the person. Because in the middle of a dispute you start reciting the names of Shaykh, I don't think it brings energy down. I think you're just going to annoy the other person more and end up getting into a much deeper conflict. So I believe that people should have wudu and make their madad before they go to places where the energy is going to be controversial, the people are going to be controversial, and places that we know there's going to be issues. We keep ourselves in wudu, keep ourselves in our madad and are continuously asking for the presence of the shaykh. If in the middle of a dispute, stay silent, go wash, make your wudu and come against. You know that our way is not to dispute. As soon as we say, oh this is turning into a dispute, you feel the palpitation in your heart, immediately try to stop, say, okay let's take a break for a second, go make wudu and come back without trying to talk anymore, inshaAllah. But once shaitan enters there is no getting out of it, where people think, I'm going to win this, and then they exhibit all sorts of horrific characteristics that will anger Prophet.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, what is the key to become an ashiqeen for the sake of the love of Prophet Muhammad?
To love Sayyidina Muhammad. Yeah. Do your salawats, do your service, do the practices, everything that's being described. Do your meditation, tafakkur, make the contemplation. So alhamdulillah, so that we said our faith is faith in action, that if we love Prophet then we want to show it, and that we want Prophet to look into the heart of his companions and see that our name is there, look into the hearts of his family and see his name is there, and that Allah look into the heart of Prophet and see that our name is there by our good deeds, good actions and everything we do. That's what we talked about last week, and we talked about the moon and the sun and to get their love. And that's why it's important to go over, just we keep covering new things and I think it becomes lost. And it's good to go over the things that have been talked about, that how to gain that love is that we should be in the hearts of his Ahlul Bayt and his holy companions. By loving them, by respecting them, by giving food in their name and in their honour. Alhamdulillah, these people whom I would imagine they do nothing, they make comments about, oh I thought the birth or the urs of Sayyidatina Fatimah is in Ramadan, and it's not in this day and not in that day, and in reality they wouldn't celebrate it in Ramadan either. They don't celebrate any of these days, they don't notify anybody about these days, and that you have to answer to Allah for and Prophet for, and that's why we taught last weekend. The reason we're doing this is not only for a particular day but to get our name registered in their hearts. Now if you remember Sayyidatina Fatimah every day, it would be 1,000 times more beneficial for you. If every day you remembered her and every day you gave food in her name and every day you helped the nation of Sayyidina Muhammad, you would probably be walking on water. So the fact that somebody would dare to argue it's not this day and not that day, they miss the whole point of any day. We named the organization of food relief and food distribution Fatima Zahra's helping hand, so that every day, every moment thousands of people would be thankful. because they're receiving food, water, wells, whatever it is that people are receiving from the organization. It was about getting into her holy heart, her nazar to be upon us, our families and our communities. If that worked, then means you have now the nazar of Prophet looking at you, that how my daughter is remembering you, why my daughter is praying for you. You must have done something to get her attention. Now you have the nazar of Prophet. But instead they just want to give warnings about as if they speak for Allah and everything harshness and everything tough, and people have to check themselves before they worry about other things. Because everybody should check themselves and see if they're doing everything correctly and doing everything right, and then find why the wisdom of this shaykh is putting out these days and putting out these actions. Now they say her holy birth is on the 20th of Jumat Thani, and some say, no, it's on 13th. So mashallah, why don't you celebrate all of them and give a cake for all of the days, and why don't you compete with us to do better on your day that you're choosing. We'll also do 13th, we'll also do 20th, and we do every day, we give food and drink and water. So they're missing the point. So anyone who emails this sort of ridiculous things, you miss the point. And anybody online who's saying that, then our people can understand they're missing the point. They want to find a crack in a wall, they want to come to these deeds and beatific deeds by people. I'm not talking about myself doing them, all our people are doing them. Somebody wants to come to this wall and look and see there's a crack. For what? The whole earth is cracked. Why didn't you find something good to say? But this is the nature and the dirty nature of people, the bad nature of people. So for our people who are listening, is celebrated every day. You'll walk on water within 6 months. So alhamdulillah, this is the barakah and blessings of our organization. Look how powerful the organization is. How many people are joining, how many people supporting, how many things are being done, how many videos been put out, how many articles been put out. Why? By Divine love. That we put a love out there, a love entered the hearts of people, and Allah sends the faiz into the heart and himma into the heart for the zeal for people to do good and do good deeds. With shaitan fighting, do you think it's easy to get people to do good deeds? Allah must be sending the himma. If it was normal world, shaitan would have put out all of the lights and everybody was just sitting there and looking. But for people to be going out and doing these things, Allah's rida and satisfaction must be entering in the hearts of people, inspiring them, yes, I like this action, do it. And you see mankind doing it. That in itself is an immense reality. In surah of this month of Qamar, Allah addresses that, I think in the 3rd or 4th verse, is even with you showing immense haqqaiqs and realities, they still in the face of these knowledges say no. And so Prophet was ordered, move on and pay no attention to them. Because if you part the moon in 2 pieces, they still won't accept you, won't believe you, won't understand you. So this life of ours is not about the acceptance from people, we don't care at all. It's the acceptance of Allah and Sayyidina Muhammad. If they're happy, jump on board, but don't worry about the rest, inshaAllah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati Muhammadan Mustafa Basir Surat al-Fatiha. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans, Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.